Hey YouTube fam, this is Ken with LearningZen. Thanks for checking us out. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you've been here before and you were crazy enough to come back, welcome back. Today, I'm going to show you how to use markers. What do you mean the wrong markers? They're markers. My bad. Markers inside Camtasia 2022. Okay, so here we are inside Camtasia 2022, and I'm going to show you 3 different uses for markers. Now, the first one is for editing. I have my video down here on my timeline, and if you have a bunch of pieces of video, this is a great way to be able to kind of scrub through them. So I have my video on my timeline, and I can scrub through, and I don't need this. I don't need all this at the beginning, and I don't need the installation at the end. I just need here where they're talking about the sizing and things like that. So I'm going to come back here, find out where this starts. And it starts right about here with your arrows. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look down also at my audio down here and make sure that I'm getting the right place to edit. So what I'll do is right here, and I'll put a marker. Now, when it comes to placing markers, you have 3 ways that you can place a marker. You can right-click on the playhead and add timeline marker. You can come to the left of your timeline, and this little tweedle down thing, you can click that and click marker. You can also put a quiz if you wanted, but you could do a marker. Or you can use the shortcut, which is Shift-M on a PC. I believe it's the same on a Mac. I'm using a PC. And you can place your marker there. I would recommend naming your markers. So what am I doing? Well, I'm going to begin edit. So begin edit. And then I'm going to scrub through and find out when I want to end this. And let's see. Oh, we're too far. Come back, right about there. And when I'm scrubbing through, these markers are just rough. So they're just marking out where I want to make my edits. Then I'll come back in the editing and make everything really tight. Okay. So again, Shift-M. And we'll just say this one, end, edit, and cut, however, whatever language you want to use that makes sense to you. And then enter, and I have my 2 markers, and I can then now go back and grab my next piece of footage if I want to review that, or I can begin editing from here. But that's one use of markers. So when you're editing, little tip about markers. Once you place one, it kind of tweedles this thing down, and you'll see on the left-hand side of your timeline, it will say marker. So that means every time you're in here on the timeline, you're going to have the opportunity to add a marker. And while we're here, there's actually a 4th way to add a marker, and that would be to click this plus sign, and that adds a marker as well. To get rid of them, you can right-click, delete, or you can click on the marker and come up to the properties panel and delete it there. So that's for editing. The next way that you can use markers is for creating chapters. Chapters and a table of contents if you're creating, I don't know, YouTube videos, or if you're creating e-learning courses, you can do that. You can create a table of contents. And again, that is done with markers. So, for example, let's say we'll go back to this same video, and if I wanted to go here and put a marker, at this point, what I would say is 1, and that would be placement. Then I can come down here to the end of that edit, and maybe chapter 2 is going to be, I'm going to put a marker here, Shift M, and on the right hand side in the properties panel, marker name, going to get rid of that, and I'll just put 2, and maybe this is installation. And if that's not how you spell installation, work with me here. Anyway, so now I have my 2 chapters. What I can do is go to export and go to YouTube, and I can upload this right to YouTube, and it will include my markers in my description. How about that? There you go. So that's your second use. Third use is for if you're creating a SCORM course or you're creating an e-learning course. You can use these to create chapters in your course and also a table of contents. So the way you would do that is you have your markers placed. You will come up to the right on export. And again, this is on a PC. I know the export's a little bit different on Mac, but this is a PC. So you're going to go to export, legacy local file. Make sure you have custom productions selected. You can next. Then you want that smart player for the HTML. Next, next. And if you want it to be SCORM, just make sure your SCORM is checked off here. Next, the big one is here. Now you have a table of contents. So it will show the markers that you placed, what you named them, and if you want, you can click on it and rename it to whatever you want it to be if you want to change the chapter title. So that's the way that you can use it to create chapters. And do you want the table of contents to be on the left or on the right? You can select that down here. I like it on the right because in the player, the little icon to pop up the table of contents is on the right hand side. So if you click that, the table of contents opens up right above it. It's nice and convenient. So that's how you can do chapters for an e-learning course.
Bonus round.
All right, and you know I always like to do bonus for the people who stay around. The bonus is that you could create journey learning. So if you are an e-learning creator, you can create journey learning using your markers. So let's say somewhere along here, I want to put in a quiz. So I could add a quiz. I'll go to my quiz over on the right-hand side in the properties. What type of question you want to ask? Put in your question. And then if you have a multiple choice, you can put in your answers. And then if you click on display feedback, you can determine what happens. So if they click the correct answer, maybe you want to have them jump forward to the next section, and you can do that. So if correct, continue to a marker. So they would jump to a marker, and you would identify which marker that would be. And if it's incorrect, you could also have them go to a marker. Maybe that's the marker that starts the chapter they just did not complete the quiz for. So you can jump people around or journey learning, if you will, and you would just export this as a SCORM file and upload it to your learning management system. So there you have it. 3 ways and a bonus to use markers in Camtasia. If you like this video or any of our videos, why don't you go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button and the notification bell, because we'll be coming out with new videos every week. Until next time, remember, laugh more and learn more. Go Phils. See ya. Jump to a marker, and it would be the marker for the chapter that they just Anyway, hey, if you like this video or any of the videos.